At sunrise.
The search is on for victims of the California wildfires. In the meantime, those left behind are at a loss.
No one knows what to do. We're all living minute by minute out here.
2 weeks ago, these people had their lives and they were going about their days.
Well, those flames surrounded a California mom just moments after giving birth to her daughter.
There were a lot of times where I thought that that minute that I saw her was going to be the only time I ever saw her.
Hear from a Portland area doctor who helped get her to safety.
We're also scheduled to get a new look at the recovery effort in the gorge later today, more than 14 months since the Eagle Creek fire ripped through that area.
And a local family mourns the loss of their son killed by a drunk driver. Their message for the suspect.
Plus, we are just a few days away from Thanksgiving, how you can whip up a big feast even if you don't have a lot of time.
And the look at the roads this morning. I-5 looking pretty good out of Clark County. I-205 over the Glen Jackson Bridge right there in the middle of your screen, looking wide open as well, making that early morning run, maybe the early getaway for Thanksgiving. The drive to the airport in pretty good shape, guys.
Chris handling the traffic for us this morning. Rod talking weekday forecast and then holiday forecast.
Right now, same old thing. We have twinkling stars out there. I find that romantic, you know, twinkling stars.
Or random.
Or random. Good visibility over the city. It's cold, though. Maybe that's romantic, too, right? You got to snuggle up next to somebody. 32 degrees. We have frosty areas. East wind still blowing out of the gorge. Gresham, Choctaw, each in the 40s right now. Generally, we'll go clear 35 at the bus stop. 50 degrees at lunchtime. Kids get out of school. Nice 53. That Thanksgiving holiday forecast coming up shortly.
Thank you. Well, the Portland author accused of murdering her husband will be in court for a hearing today. Police arrested Nancy Crampton Brophy in September, 2 months after her husband Daniel Brophy was found shot to death at the Oregon Culinary Institute. Brophy was an instructor at the school. His wife, who pleaded not guilty to murder charges, has published several romance novels and wrote an essay in 2011 called How to Murder Your Husband.
Also, an update for you now. A man will be in court today charged in a deadly drunk driving crash. Police say 23-year-old Callum Breitenberg was speeding on Willamette Boulevard Thursday. They say he crashed into a parked car and then hit 32-year-old Jason Barnes, who was on the sidewalk collecting bottles and cans. Barnes died at the hospital. We talked to his family over the weekend. They say he was living on the streets, but he was trying to turn his life around.
Jason was homeless. He had his struggles, but apparently, from all I can tell, and I always knew, he was a sweet, loving person, and he loved people.
Barnes's family hopes his death can be a reminder never to drink and drive. Meanwhile, Breitenberg is facing multiple charges, including second-degree manslaughter.
Police are looking for the person who stabbed a North Portland pastor outside his own church yesterday. A stranger approached Kevin Nichols in the parking lot of the Well Community Church on Northeast 1st and Schuyler. The man then stabbed the pastor. Nichols was able to run to a nearby business and get help. The church posted on its Facebook page that Nichols is stable and doctors say he'll make a full recovery. The suspect, meanwhile, is described as very tall, between 6 feet and 6'6", either white or Hispanic, and in his 20s. You're asked to call police if you know anything.
It is 6:03 now. New drone video shows the devastation left behind from the deadly wildfire burning in Northern California.
Yeah, this is the remnants right here. You see the remnants of the campfire. You see homes and entire towns destroyed. At last check, the fire was 65% contained. At least 77 people have died. Rain in this week's forecast could help firefighters, but it's going to make the search for victims even more difficult because of mudslide concerns. Today, six firefighter strike teams from Oregon who helped battle the fire, they're going to return back home.
Well, here's a story of heroism coming out of California, and it involves an Oregon man who's now a doctor down there. As KGW's Maggie Vespa explains, he was actually trying to save his own life when he ended up saving a new mom who had just given birth.
And saw this plume of smoke coming over the trees. Told my family, hey, there's a new fire. I'm going to go check on the patients at the hospital.
You see, David Russell is Dr. David Russell, a native of Eagle Creek, Oregon, and a pediatrician at Feather River Hospital in Paradise, California. Evacuations at that hospital were soon underway. Staff scrambled. Russell helped. Eventually, with flames fast approaching, he was ordered to leave too. He got into his truck. Then, a new problem.
It was just bumper-to-bumper traffic, didn't have anywhere to go.
Hearing explosions behind him, Russell abandoned the truck and ran, an effort to save his own life. He couldn't have known he was about to help save someone else.
There was an ambulance with the back doors open and a patient inside on a stretcher saying, "Hey, come get me out of here, it's on fire, it's on fire."
That patient was Heather Roebuck, mom to the last baby born at Feather River Hospital before flames struck. Her husband evacuated with their newborn daughter. Roebuck, though, had just undergone a C-section. She would need an ambulance.
Sheer terror, like me. I'm in the middle of surgery. Do we go to us? They just stitched me up really quickly.
I didn't know what was going on. She said, "Get me out of here, my legs don't work." And I thought, I had no idea who she was or what her medical condition was, but I knew her legs didn't work and we were going to carry her out. That's all we needed to know.
And carry her they did to a nearby empty house where EMTs, nurses, and others were already working with hoses and gardening tools to keep the fire at bay. Russell joined in and miraculously, they were successful. Maggie Vespa, KGW News.
What an incredible story that was. KGW is teaming up with the Red Cross to raise money for the wildfire victims. Your donations will provide food and shelter for evacuees who lost everything. You can donate right now at kgw.com.
It's 6:06, time for some more news headlines in your morning rush. Today, ODOT will give us a tour of a 6-mile stretch of the Columbia River Highway that shut down after the Eagle Creek fire. We'll stop at Waukena, Horsetail, and Multnomah Falls. The U.S. Forest Service says it's changed parking areas and also added barriers to protect the road from falling rocks. ODOT hopes to reopen that highway within the next few weeks. David's Bridal, the nation's largest wedding gown retailer, has filed for bankruptcy, but the company is not going anywhere. The CEO says David's has secured support to continue operating 300 stores and its online operations, so the bankruptcy will not affect current orders or appointments. Also, residents in Tijuana, Mexico are protesting the arrival of thousands of Central American migrants. Locals waved Mexican flags and they told the migrants to go home during this demonstration yesterday. The migrants are seeking asylum in the U.S., but that could take months. In the meantime, some are staying in Tijuana shelters, others are sleeping on the streets. Well, after a long recount, Republican Rick Scott wins Florida's Senate race. Yesterday, incumbent Senator Bill Nelson conceded to the former governor. Scott beat Nelson by more than 10,000 votes.
No.
And the White House Christmas tree will arrive in Washington, D.C. today. That 19-foot Fraser fir is from North Carolina. Now, the tree farmer says he almost gave up on trimming it because it wasn't doing very well, but the White House says it loves the natural look. And that is your morning rush.
So, natural look. That means we have the Capitol tree, right, from Oregon?
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
Like
so
to
it's
see a little
not like
comparison?
this,
Well, apparently
like
it's the better of the
cone.
two trees. Yeah, so if someone comes to your house over the holidays and says, hey, your tree looks very natural,
Natural.
it means they don't like the way your tree looks.
No,
That's a nice
I
way of
love the
putting it.
natural look as well.